Two tenders, not alike in dignity, in fair Cherbourg, where great steamers stopped, from great liners to great wars, where robbing ships was neither norm. From home to the halls men left land behind, occasionally for the final time. I shall leave for history or I'll know, for I have ruined a piece of Shakespeare. The screw steamers Nomadic and Traffic were laid down on the number 1 slipway of Harland to Mull in Belfast on the 22nd of December 1910, Nomadic being launched on the 25th of April and Traffic on the 27th, and both commissioned on the 27th of May. Nomadic and presumably Traffic would accompany the RMS Olympic to Liverpool on the 31st of May for Olympic's maiden voyage and Titanic's launch day, Titanic being in Belfast of course. They would first tender to the Olympic on the 14th of June, however their performance was unsatisfactory and they would soon improve. On the 13th of November, Nomadic would collide with the SS Philadelphia and suffer slight damage to her bow. This would be repaired and both Nomadic and Traffic would tender to Titanic on her maiden voyage. During 1913, both tenders would gain includes wheelhouses comsat before they became naval tenders in World War I, with Nomadic becoming a minesweeper, being equipped with a 90mm gun, and a famous French 75 gun, which appears to be an artillery piece and should surely have been deployed to the trenches, but what do I know? Nomadic and Traffic would end the war by transporting some American soldiers to the USS Leviathan to be taken back to the US. And at some point during the 20s, Nomadic would undergo refit comsat, and in 1927, with the White Star Line changing ownership, they would be sold off to the company Cherbourg to transport them, but would retain their White Star names and funnels. In 1928, Nomadic would collide with the SS Orinoco, and on the 9th of June 1929, Traffic would collide with the RMS Homewreck due to poor handling, and would have a new rudder or screws made at Harland and Wolff to solve this. Exactly 6 months later, Traffic would collide with the SS Minnewaska, and Nomadic would collide with the exact same liner on the 29th of November 1931. In 1934, due to the deepening of Cherbourg Harbour and the redundancy as a result, Nomadic and Traffic would be retooled to the Société Cherbourgeoise de Remorquage et Sauvetage and renamed to Ingénieur Minard et Ingénieur Reibell, respectively, and have their reef and have their funnels repainted comsat. They would continue their careers as tug tenders until World War II, when in 1940, with the invasion of France, their story diverges. Ingénieur Reibell would be requisitioned by the Marine Nationale, converted to a minesweeper and renamed X-23 before being sculled as a breakwater in Cherbourg to deny the Germans access to the harbour. The Germans would of course raise X-23 a few months later and convert her to a coastal escort vessel, and depending on who you listen to, was scrapped due to slow speed, scuttled again and had fittings salvaged, or was sank by a British submarine on the 17th of January 1941. Ingénieur Minard would flee to Southampton on the 3rd of July 1940 with some aircraft engineers from Amio, which were presumably rather useful during the Battle of Britain, and was used for various roles before returning to a heavily damaged Cherbourg in 1945, leaving her with nigh constant tendering duties until the harbour was repaired in the early 50s. Due to the rise of jetliners in the 60s, Minard was almost exclusively tendered to Killard's Two Queens before finally, on the 4th of November 1968, Minard would tender for the last time to the RMS Queen Elizabeth, ending her almost 60-year career. In a normal world, Minard would be scrapped, but because nothing has ever made sense in this world, she was bought by the French businessman Roland Spinois to become a floating restaurant in Paris. Having her upper deck removed, however, Roland's plans would fall through, and somehow there's yet another French businessman who wanted a floating restaurant next to the Eiffel Tower. Yes, the French businessman Yvon Vincent was by her, renamed her to Nomadic again, and she was opened to the public on the 26th of June 1977. In 1999, new regulations meant that Nomadic required annual hull inspections in dry dock, something she couldn't do as she was trapped in Paris, so she lay derelict until 2002 when harbour authorities would seize her, chop off her upper deck, which was a different upper deck to the first one they chopped off obviously, and towed her up to Le Havre in 2003. She was put up for auction with a reserve price of €500,000, but didn't sell, so it was auctioned again with a reserve of €250,000 and would be purchased by the Northern Ireland Department for Social Development for just €1 more than the reserve price, and taken up to Belfast on a barge, were stored in the Hamilton graving dock and opened to the public on the 1st of June 2013. Comsa, and would have her ownership transferred to Titanic Belfast at some point, meaning that you, unfortunately, cannot visit her with Tesco's Club Card points. For my models, I've included a mod board for the ability to convert them to various points in their careers, as you could see during the history segment. They are built with half-stud tapers, as I always do, and are not interesting in any other way, nor are they particularly accurate, as they are about one plate too deep. I have done worse in the past, though, at least on Nomadic. Fortunately, there is no photographic evidence of such a travesty, but all I will say is, I didn't know half-stud tapers, and I also didn't know what size a stud was.